Hey, this is Phil from Race City Retro, and it's a beautiful day out today. The birds are singing, the sun's shining. I'm working on my tan. It's a great day to paint some bear headers. I have always bought headers and painted them myself for years. I've developed a method that works really well. If you do it right, it lasts really long and it looks great. It gives you that old-time look if you're building something vintage. These are my Patriot Fenderwell headers from my 55 Chevy Gasser we're building right now, and they're gonna get a coat of flat white. Let's go over everything you're gonna need. So I'm gonna show you how you can paint your headers and have it last. Okay, here's my little paint table I got going out here. And this is everything you'll need to paint these headers properly. Whenever you paint anything, the prep is 90% of the job. The painting is only 10% of the job. So the prep is extremely important to achieve the results you want and the longevity of the paint job. And that goes with anything, painting a house, painting a car, painting parts. If you don't prep them right, the paint's gonna fail. The paint's gonna chip, the paint's gonna come off. So let me show you how we're gonna prep these headers right. Now these headers come bare coated, so right off the bat they're gonna have oil on them, these headers, because they'll generally either pickle them or they'll put something on them so they're not all rusty in the box when you get them. But you will get rust spots initially. So the main thing we want today before any paint or prime goes on these headers is they gotta be clean, 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 hospital clean. And here's how we're gonna do that. Lacquer thinner. Lacquer thinner cleans better than any wax and grease remover. Lacquer thinner is a lot harsher, it's a lot stronger. Most really good engine shops will clean every part in the motor with lacquer thinner before they put it together, just to make sure it's hospital clean. Now, it's a pair of headers, we're not going for hospital clean, but I want to make sure all the oil is off these headers. They've been handled by everybody. The guy that made them, the guy that put them in the box, me. It's got fingertip oil all over these headers. I want them clean, clean, clean before the prime goes on. Scotch-Brite, or if you don't have Scotch-Brite, steel wool. Got to scuff them up a little to give the primer something to bite to. Once the primer bites, that'll dry, then the paint will go over the primer. And what we're using for primer and paint, this is directly from Summit Racing, not sponsored. This is bought with my own money. VHT Flame Proof Primer. Boy, say that 10 times fast. VHT's Flame Proof Primer. It's good for 2,000 degrees, maximum adhesion. And this is a gray color. It's very high temperature, according to VHT. I've used it a bunch of times. Works great. The reason we're using gray prime, it comes in white also. Guys that know that will say, why don't you use the white prime if you painted white? I like the two colors because when you prime it in the gray and you put the white over it, you'll make sure you didn't miss any spots. If you put gray over gray, flat gray over flat gray, you have a tendency to miss some spots, and later on they'll burn off because there's no paint, it's just primer. So gray prime, and this is part number SP100 VHT prime, high heat. And then for the paint, there's a bunch of colors available, but I want it to have that 60s, 70s, the flat white Fenderwells coming out look. So VHT, very high temperature, flame proof paint, and this is flat white. This is part number SP101. You can get that from Summit Racing also. And then we're gonna have our protective stuff, rubber gloves, and a respirator. Don't paint with a dust mask, paint with a real respirator. The fumes from this stuff can kill you. Don't cheap out. Get a real respirator. You could use it a time or two before they go bad, but don't use a dust mask. And some towels to put the lacquer thinner on. These towels have been washed and dried. It takes all the lint off them. If you want, you can use lint-free paper towels, but I like to use these. They'll hold the lacquer thinner better. And the fact that they were washed and dried, you won't get lint all over what you're about to paint. So let's go into the steps we're going to do to prep these headers properly. Okay, the first thing about prepping these headers is, see how I have them mounted? I can access every side, top, bottom. I put them on my Z-Rack, which I don't know why they call it a Z-Rack. They sent me an N-Rack. I must have got the wrong one. These things are great. You can buy them online. They're inexpensive, maybe $60. They hold like a bazillion pounds, and this allows you to both prep them where you can see every angle and paint them where you can see every angle. Makes the job a lot easier. That's called a Z-rack, but I got an N-rack, but it still works. I'm good with it. All right, and like I had said earlier, I love lacquer thinner because it cleans so well. The real, everybody, well, you might have guys that ask, what's the difference between that and wax and grease remover? Wax and grease remover, it's a lot lighter. It's made to not hurt the surface underneath, and by that I mean if these were painted, I could take wax and grease off them and not hurt the paint. That's why you use it on a car, let's say. Lacquer thinner, if these were painted and you start rubbing lacquer thinner, it's going to eat the paint off. And the other thing between the two, lacquer thinner, you really don't have to clean the residue. It dries so quick. Whereas wax and grease remover, you have to wipe it on one rag and wipe it off on another rag before it dries, because you want to take the residue off on the rag. Lacquer thinner, you could just splash this down, get it in the cracks. It'll all dry, 1, 2, 3. So, and basically what you're going to do, lacquer thinner is a lot cheaper, man. Wax and grease remover is like $60 a gallon now. This is still, you can buy it 18, 20 bucks usually at like Lowe's or Home Depot or anybody like that. Fold up your rag, splash it on your rag. And the reason we're cleaning before we scuff is you don't want to rub oil into the tubes. You want to get the oil out of the way. And I just clean them everywhere I could put my hands. And notice I have my gloves on for 2 reasons: to protect my hands from the lacquer thinner and to not put any oil back on these things once they've been cleaned. That's it. We don't want to touch them again. All right, so give me a minute. I'm going to wash these each down twice. I'm going to wash them once, and then I'm going to wash them again with the lacquer thinner on the rag. I'll be right back. All right, there you go. These babies are glistening. You could see they even look different, and that's the rag. So lots of oil, lots of stuff came off these. You notice I took my gloves off. Before I start sanding, I'm going to put fresh gloves on, and then I'll start to scuff these down for the primer. One of the most important things, too, I'm going to tell you where a lot of guys make this mistake. If you're painting headers and putting them on an engine where you have to break in a hydraulic camshaft, don't. Break in your cam first, then take the headers off and do this to your headers, because that heat of a camshaft break-in, I don't care what you have, even with coated headers, they tell you right with coated headers, your warranty's void if you do a camshaft break-in with your HTC coated headers and it starts damaging it. And I've seen lots of coated headers where they'll get hot spots in them because of a cam break-in. So break in your cam first, then take them off the engine, then do this to them. So your cam's broken in, now they'll just live a normal life. But let me change my gloves out, and then we're going to start scuffing these for prime. It's prime time here in my outdoor spray booth. Not spray booth, spray rack, my Z-rack, N-rack. Okay, first off, I got clean gloves. I got a fresh Scotch-Brite. Make sure it's nothing you've been using before, because you don't want to wipe anything on this from something else. You notice I got 1 can of paint, 1 can of prime, sitting in the sun a little, warming them up. Paint always flows best when it's warm, but you don't want to get it too hot. That can's explosive. Remember, it's got gas in it. So basically what you're going to do with your Scotch-Brite is just stroke your tubes. That's it. Stroke your tubes. And you're going to try and get in every little nook and cranny you can. That's the nice thing about the Z-Rack. I could spin this thing around. I could come at it from all angles. So what I like to do, stay on one side. Don't go jumping all over. Get everything you see on the one side and then move around. These headers are big, man. Fender well headers are just about the biggest headers you could put on a car, unless it's like a race Hemi or something. I think those are a little bigger. But even the flange, both sides of the flange, we're going to paint the flange. We're going to shoot some down into tubes everywhere. All right, so I'm going to scuff these down. I don't want to show you too much, because if this video is too long, people leave. They get unamused at learning things, I guess, these days. But If you're still with us, you're gonna like the end product. They're gonna look good. All right, let me finish stroking my tubes. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so they've just been scuffed with my Scotch-Brite pad. You can see they've changed their tune. They're not so shiny anymore because we took all that shine off them by scuffing them. Scuffed them really good. I wiped them down with a clean lint-free rag just to make sure there's no dust, no metal shavings, anything that's going to get into the paint. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to suit up with my respirator. I got fresh gloves on. I'm going to shake this can primer. 2 minutes, man. And when you shake it the one way, always flip it. Shake it that way too. Make sure this stuff is well mixed. And you won't have problems with the nozzles clogging up. A lot of times people go like this, and then they go, oh, the nozzle's clogged. Try and get as best as you can, and usually that very rarely happens when the paint gets mixed really good. So let me get my respirator. Let's get this thing shaken, not stirred, and we'll start shooting some prime on these babies. Okay, I shook this paint a couple minutes. Just like Elvis, it's all shook up. It's ready to go on here. I'm going to put 2 heavy coats of prime on these things. All right. I'm going to move my camera because I don't want gray overspray all over my lens. And I will come back and show you what they look like once they've been primed. I got my respirator ready to go. We're going to put 2 coats of prime. Make sure when you paint, shoot paint down in all the gaps. Shoot your flanges. Shoot the inside of the flange as well as the outside of the flange. Get everything good, especially with the primer. 2 heavy coats of prime, and then we're going to let them dry for an hour before we put paint on them, let them gas out. The sun is your friend today. The sun is your friend. It's just, these things are hot to the touch, so it makes the paint dry really hard, really fast, and really thorough. All right, let me get painting. Let me get my camera out of the way. Okay, there we go. We've got 2 coats of prime, nice wet, heavy coats. And I turned the rack around too because the sun is at my back. I wanted to make sure I saw all the spots so that I didn't miss anything. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let these sit out here. That's cool, ain't that cool? Patriot. I'm going to let these sit out here for probably about an hour and let them gas out. And if you don't understand what the gas out terminology is, part of the drying process in paints is the chemicals in the paint that make it dry have to give off a vapor. If you keep putting coat after coat after coat, you trap that stuff in and it really doesn't dry right. So you want to give it time to gas out. It's part of the drying process. They'll dry real hard, and then we're going to get some color on them because this stuff, man, it's almost like a ceramic when it dries. It dries really, really good. But I'm very happy. This is the Great Prime. It's prime time. All right, in an hour, I'll come back. I'll throw some white on it. And this is 2 coats. I used 1.5 cans to do 2 coats on each header. So with the white paint, should be about the same thing. And I'm going to put 2 coats of paint on each header. And there you go. They've been hung out to dry. 2 coats of prime, 2 coats of white. Let them sit out in the sun and bake the rest of the day. The sun is your friend when you're painting stuff. I've done this in the past. It holds up really good. If you follow us, you'll see a follow-up video, maybe a few months, 6 months, 9 months. I'll show you what they look like then after a few run cycles. But they look pretty good. I like the white sheen. It's the right look, like the old blackjack headers of the day, or hookers used to be white too for a while. But it should look good on the 55. It's got a nice gasser look to it. For all you guys who have subscribed, man, I can't thank you enough. And for all you guys who have gone to our website and supported the channel, RacecityRetro.com. We're a hot rod t-shirt company. Got over 100 t-shirt designs on our website. License plates, street signs, parking signs, decals, hats, hoodies, all kinds of cool hot rod stuff. Check us out at RacecityRetro.com. And if you like this video and learned something, please give us a like, give us a subscribe. It's free, don't cost nothing. A lot more cool content coming up. Thanks for watching, guys. Get out into the garage or the backyard paint booth and build something cool.